What a fantastic and emotional chapter focusing on Haru and Karen's relationship as we start the opening of Haru's national tournament. Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Earlier, and today let's talk about chapter 39 of the Blue Box manga series. Like I said, this was a fantastic and emotional chapter that really gave us not only Karen and Haru's sort of relationship dynamic, but also this chapter showcases a much more sweeter side to Haru. Now then, one thing that made this chapter so sweet and wholesome was that Haru and Karen segment, in where we had Karen having a bad day at work. She talked to Haru about that because she wanted to express her feelings. And upon this conversation concluding, she received a message from Haru to meet her outside, where Haru turned into the mega boyfriend, offering her his diary from 2nd grade, full of entries that were dumb, goofy, and hilarious. All of this was in an attempt to help Karen feel better. This segment just shows that Haru does both deeply care about Karen, and Haru also knows a lot about his girlfriend as well. Like the fact that Haru was aware that she tends to overthink things, so that it might cause her issues when trying to sleep at night. Haru continues to be the supportive boyfriend in that flashback by stating that if this idea of his doesn't work, if the idea of reading his embarrassing, goofy stories doesn't help her, then in the morning they'll talk about it together and come up with a solution. This I absolutely enjoyed a lot. While in the present day, if we look at the two together at this moment in time, we see how they're testing things out within their relationship because they don't know everything yet, and this makes sense. They're still a young couple. They're still young adults in of themselves as well. Karen is in present day being super supportive towards Haru's badminton ambitions by changing her work schedule so that she could attend and watch his matches, cheering him on from the stands. At first, I thought Haru's reaction to seeing her there was embarrassment, but upon thinking about it, he's probably actually really happy that she's actually here watching him do what he loves to do, and this is just genuinely heartwarming. However, there was one line that could make Haru and Karen fans upset. This, of course, would all be based upon the outcome of the Hyodo versus Haru matchup that is coming in the next chapter. Karen stated within this chapter there was a condition for them to start dating. And that condition was, if one of them ever started to slack off at work or sports, then they would break up. But now, with Haru facing Hyodo, a man that Haru has never been able to beat, an impossible mountain of a task lies in front of him. Could something bad happen as a result of this match? What if Haru was to lose massively in front of Karen, and this causes an embarrassed Haru to quit badminton? Now this would come about upon a mixture of emotions, such as shame for losing in front of your girlfriend, despair, because no matter how much effort, time, training, or whatever you do, how many times you faced him, you just can't beat Hyodo. And of course, frustration, because he's just lost at Nationals when his goal was to win the whole thing. Now I don't for one second see Haru truly quitting. He might toy around with the idea of quitting badminton, but I don't see him completely giving up on the sport that he loves. However, we as humans do often act rashly in certain situations and based on our emotions at the time. But if this situation were to occur, if Haru was thinking about quitting, would Karen leave Haru as the condition for them dating would have been breached? Or would Karen try to fight for their relationship and be a supportive partner towards Haru, just like Haru did when her bad day happened in that flashback? As heartbreaking as this might sound, it could be a great sort of little side story for Haru and Karen to showcase how much their bond means to each other allowing them to develop and strengthen their relationship, but also just develop as characters themselves. So yeah, basically just based on this whole interaction with Haru and Karen, I really did like the dynamic that the manga presented forth and the possible development that could happen moving forward with Shodo being in the mix. Now, a part of me thinks that she did hear Taiki's voice, and in a state of panic, she hung up. Because she was caught off guard. She was speaking to Karen, and then out of the blue, Taiki's voice popped up. And Chanatsu just couldn't allow this conversation to happen because it would resurface those feelings for Taiki in her mind. And of course, she needs to be in the right headspace ahead of her national matches. Now then, the thing that I loved about the Taiki and Karen interaction was the fact that Taiki, after hearing all of this, realised that he himself didn't know what Chanatsu was thinking, because he never does. But nor has he ever told Chanatsu what he is actually thinking. Now of course, me as a reader would then go on to speculate that maybe Taiki realises this, and he's probably going to act upon that and express himself to Chanatsu in a future chapter. So I'll be curious to see if he actually does do that moving forward. But the other thing that Taiki also sort of realises or is reassured by the end of this chapter is that if and when Taiki tries dating Chanatsu, things don't have to be perfect from the word go. You can work together and help each other out and go forth with the relationship, planning bits step by step. Just like how Haru and Karen have been doing up to this point. Haru and Karen's relationship is quite similar to that of Taiki and Chanatsu's situation, in that all the people involved have a dream/desire in either work or sports. And of course, neither of these people want a relationship to prevent those dreams from being achieved. However, the difference here comes from the fact that Chanatsu does not believe that a relationship could work while she's trying to go towards nationals. We've seen this before from Chanatsu's character. She's even stated herself. In her conversation with Hina way back in chapter 3, where Chanatsu is asked about a boyfriend, she responds with, of course, the line saying that she's focused on her team right now, so that's not a priority. Pair that with the Chanatsu action of creating distance between herself and Taiki, who we know Chanatsu likes Taiki because of all of the feelings that she's trying to suppress at the moment, it does make you wonder. Obviously, this leads to Chanatsu not thinking that she can make a relationship like the one that Karen and Haru have work. I would imagine that if Karen so easily told Taiki all of this information, then Chanatsu as well knows about this backstory and the kind of ins and out of the Karen and Haru relationship. But again, more on Taiki and Karen's interactions. I thought this was really comedic and showcased Karen to be very observant, sharp and knowledgeable. I like the kind of teasing vibe and atmosphere it created at the beginning of the chapter. It was rather comedic before, so it was kind of nice and refreshing to have that, as we kind of went from comedy to quite serious sort of emotional, romantic sort of stuff, to then hype at the end for the match to come between Haru and Shodo. With all that being said though, the interaction between Taiki and Karen before the ending of chapter 38 was unexpected. However, thanks to this chapter 39, it was really helpful for both characters from a story perspective and from a reader's perspective in making me like Karen a lot more. So overall, I loved this chapter. It really helped showcase Haru and Karen and making them even better characters in the process. I really hope Haru does finally beat Shodo in this round, and my one request is that they please allow the manga to have some badminton action showcased. Allow the match to have room to breathe and showcase the competitors going at each other toe to toe. I would love it if Haru does win and get that triumphant sort of celebration before the climactic loss that Haru is going to receive. My personal favourite outcome to this tournament would be that Haru beats Shodo, but then loses to Yusa. because the wording at the end of this chapter, with Hyodo saying, if you can't even take a set of me, then it's not likely that you'll make it next time, it makes me believe that Hyodo sees potential in Taiki, but knows that Yusa won't lose to Haru. Which obviously would lead to Haru taking out Taiki, but then if Yusa beats Haru, then it would give a really fun dynamic between Taiki and Haru, who both want to take down Yusa in the next national tournament. But yeah, I love this manga when it goes into the backstory of characters and showcases a lot of emotion and supportive interactions between characters. So this chapter for me I thought was brilliant, and I enjoyed it very much so. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for more Blue Box content. Have a great day. Alligator, matane. Goodbye.